Hey, what's going on everybody? My name's Cast. Welcome back to another episode of Haikyuu. This time we are on Season 1, Episode 21. So the Seijo battle continues, and as we saw in the last episode, Kageyama has begun to lose his cool. Suga is subbing in for him now, but it does lead me to a few concerns. First off, I don't know exactly how Kageyama is going to react to being benched. Considering how prideful and personally responsible he feels for his team as a setter, I think it would be expected that he might come out a bit frustrated with being switched out, but despite that, I still think it's a good call. There's kind of a lot I want to talk about relating to that, but I think I'll save it to actually see how he reacts, but that's definitely something I'm kind of worried about. In fact, I think that right now is probably the best opportunity they're going to get. They're probably the best timing to switch him out as well. My other concern is pretty much with the match itself. On paper, this doesn't really look good for Karasuno, considering Seijo is such a good team and they were able to push someone as talented as Kageyama to the brink to where he can't handle it anymore. One might struggle to think what Suga could bring to the table, but saying that, I feel like I'm going to give Suga the benefit of the doubt because first off, I love Suga, but speaking purely as a player, he's not as raw talented or he doesn't have the abilities of Kageyama, but even with that being the case, he does have a few things that Kageyama doesn't have. For one, maturity and level-headedness, something that Kageyama, he might lose his cool a little bit easier than Suga, which is a good thing if someone can think straight even under pressure. But I think more than anything, he has experience, and he has experience with this team. It's a lot of chemistry that was built up over the years, something that you can only really get with time that Kageyama hasn't yet had. If you've been listening to my discussions at all, you know I've been saying for quite a few episodes now that I've been wanting Suga to get his chance, and to be honest, I can't think of a better time than right now. Against Seijo of all teams, with Kageyama failing, Suga can do something that Kageyama can't against such a skilled team. That would be really, really cool. I think if anybody's ready for it, it's him. He's had so much time to prep. He's got so much personally invested in it. So I have faith in him, but I guess we're just gonna have to see if my faith is in the right place. If you would like to check out my reactions to the next episodes right now, they are over on my Patreon. Episode 22 is available on the Soul tier, and episodes past that, shown right here, are available on the Ascended tier. Those reactions are also extended length, meaning that you get more reaction and more discussion to go along with each and every video. And of course, you can go follow me over on my socials, such as my Twitter, my Instagram, and my Twitch. The links, of course, are in the description. All right, let's get to it. I love the darkened area around him, just to show how isolated he feels. It's very cool imagery. Yeah, so I really am worried about how he's going to react to being subbed out. Okay, so far, so good. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I was too, Suga, but maybe I judged him too harshly. I'm actually a little bit surprised he seemed to react so well to that. And then of course you have Hinata to rein him back in. That's why they're such a good duo. Yeah, I guess I'm just Suga in this instance. Exactly. Do what you always do, Kageyama. Sit back and watch your senpai. Just like you guys are doing. But no, I mean, Kageyama has always sat back and watched people play. He watched Oikawa, he's watched Suga, he's watched everybody. That's part of the reason why he's so good. I mean, raw ability is one thing, but it doesn't come out of nowhere. Technique is something you learn. It's not just innate. Oh. Episode 21, Senpai's True Abilities. It's one reaction to getting punched. Learn some of Suga's kindness, maybe? Yeah. That happens sometimes. You get too focused, you forget to talk. I've been there plenty of times. I think it's probably pretty common. He's had time to be watching. So he knows maybe where to put in some corrections. It's another benefit of being on the side for a little bit. Alright, Suga. Good, good. Okay. Nice job. Suki was on that. Yeah, it seemed like they were trying to single Suga out, but maybe that's what... Maybe that's what Suga had planned to do. It was, yeah. Alright. It's clever. Yep. Strategy. The question is, though, as always, how long will it work, you know? How long will gimmicks work? Because at the end of the day, it's kind of just a gimmick that works for maybe a point or two, but we'll see. It's good for building momentum, though. Too high? Oh no, he got it. Okay. Nice, Hinata. Good job. Suga's been watching. It's much easier to take in things whenever you're not on the court yourself, you know? Exactly my point. Exactly. I mean, it's no fault to Kageyama either. I mean, it's just so much harder to pay attention whenever you're in it. These guys are just reading my mind. But I think that's fairly obvious. Yeah. It balances out, but it's so much passion that goes into it. I like that a lot. I just want to take a moment to really quickly expand on some of the things I was going to talk about in the intro, but I waited to see how Kageyama responded to being benched. But I think now is about as good a time as I'll get to talk about it a little bit more. As is becoming a trend of mine, I seem to have been thinking a lot like Ukai that Kageyama was going to be pretty mad with being benched, but it appears that we were partially wrong about that, actually. Whenever you end up in a position where you end up feeling things like defeat and failure, a really common and a really natural response is to look for somewhere to place blame. And of course, that's exacerbated by the fact that you're in the middle of a passionate, competitive sport, so emotions might be running a little bit even more high than normal, so blame would be something you would almost expect anybody to feel in this sort of instance. And whenever you're talking about blame, typically it can go in one of two directions. The first way is to take that blame and aim it internally, where you blame yourself for your own shortcomings. That's sort of similar to what Asahi did with his original issue with Dateko. He aimed it internally and became depressed, became dejected, which are pretty common responses to that. But the other way is to turn it externally and look for other people to blame. Typically, this manifests as frustration, where you end up blaming other people for your failures, and I would say this is probably more in line with what we know about Kageyama, especially considering his past. There was a precedent for it. You know, he used to blame his other teammates for not being able to keep up with them and getting frustrated with them. And that is basically what I was concerned was going to happen here. Especially considering the fact that last episode we did see some of his old bad habits emerging a little bit, which is why I'm actually pleasantly surprised about how he ended up reacting. But that's also why I said that now would be a great time for him to make the switch, because Kageyama hasn't lost himself completely yet. He gets to do what Suga did, take a step back, you know, take time to breathe, take time to calm down and observe things from the outside, get a little bit more clear-headedness, more time to be clear-headed, because once you're on the court, there's just too much going on, it's too fast-paced, and you're putting on so much pressure to perform both mentally and physically that it can be overwhelming. So I'm glad that Kageyama has the time to, you know, sit on the bench and just watch a little bit. You know, he can encourage the team as well and take on that aspect of Suga. I doubt he's going to do that, considering how he doesn't seem to be the most outwardly positive person, but we all know that Kageyama loves the sport. We all know that he wants to win probably more than anything. So I think this will be a really good learning experience for him, especially because he gets to sit back and do what he does best and watch his upperclassmen at work. I think it might just have inspired him a little bit more. So you think. I believe in him. You got it. There you go. Don't underestimate my man. Don't do it. But that doesn't mean you can't stand up to it. It just means you have to work even harder. I mean, in a lot of ways, Oikawa actually feels the same way about Kageyama. He feels like he doesn't hold up to Kageyama's skill either, but look at Oikawa. Oikawa and Kageyama actually have a lot of similarities, if you can kind of think about it. Oh god, here we go. Uh-oh. Hey. Keep them comms clear. No, it's okay. At least there's no issue between them. Is he gonna do it again? Oh no, different. Wow. Reminds me of the Yamaguchi serve. Hinata decoy? Nope. Okay. Uh-oh. He's like, I didn't want this to be me. And not quite the Suga sideline, but we'll get there. Maybe. Nice, nice. They're pacing themselves a little bit. They're adapting. Damn. So close. It was a good try, though. It's okay. Yeah, it's not over yet. It was pretty close. Can't beat yourself up over that. Yeah, it should be worrying a little bit. Yep. It's because you can't rely on the setter to do everything now. So you have to think a little bit for yourself. But that's good for a player to learn no matter what. Good, good, good. He is picking it up. Yeah, I mean, I feel like they might have even been selling him a little bit short. But you're still a team. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Can't give any slack out. No, that's what he likes to hear. All right. Oikawa's demeanor has totally changed. Will they have anticipated the change, though? Good job, Suki. You notice how he doesn't hype himself up. He only takes other people down. It's definitely like an inferiority thing, I feel like. Yeah, for sure. I'm not exactly sure what he was getting at, but maybe it awakened something in Kageyama, made him think about things differently. Is this to create the spacing a little bit better so that there's no confusion? Makes it very clear who it goes to here. Nice. It's a lot of pressure, but it makes things a bit clearer. But does he have something in store? That's what you would wonder. Well, let's see it. Nice. It's a lot of power. And it's just one. Is? Yeah. It's Nakazawa is gonna have that confidence. Nice. Let's go. All right, all right. I just love how when it counts, Kageyama is just as hyped as everybody else. He can pretend he's not, but we all see it. It's so obvious. Take it in. Yeah. I believe it. You know, like this is exactly what I'm saying. Suga and Oikawa are kind of the same way. Different demeanor and communication styles, but he's definitely doing the same role. He's filling the same purpose here. I mean, nothing he's saying is actually all that different. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, it's so clear for him, isn't it? Right here, right now, there's only one thing to do. I mean, ultimately, everyone's goal is the same, is it not? I guess it's depending on how broad you're speaking on, but... Oh, this is so cool. I mean, ultimately these games are just... they're the good and the bad, you know? Yep. Just do all you can right here, right now. It can be as that simple. Is he gonna ask to be switched? He wants to make it count, doesn't he? He knows it too. Oh, that's so wholesome. Asahi is just one of those guys. Once you fire him up. Yeah, there we go. Deleted him. There was a blocker there, I couldn't even tell. You win this thing together. And you can smile. You got to play. Huh. He said, let's win this, and said, go win this. Interesting. Not exactly sure what to make of that right now, but I'll think about it a little bit. Because I believe this is normally their last tournament as third years, but also it doesn't have to be, if I understand that correctly. Suga has such a good objective view over things. It's so good. It's refreshing. That's why he's Mr. Refreshing, because his viewpoint is so human, but it's so understandable, and it's so impartial despite his emotions, and it's so nice. He really does want what's best for the team, and I think that's clear. Okay, so before we end this, I want to take a second to talk a little bit about what that little scene was at the end. I'm not exactly sure what to make of it. It was that scene that said, like, let's win this, and it also said, go win this. I'm not exactly sure how to take that, but my interpretation that I'm running with, and the only thing I can really think of, was that he was gonna say, like, go win this, but then he thought about it, and then he said, let's win this instead, because whenever you say let's win this, there's a lot more like team-oriented implications for it, considering let's is like let us rather than go win this as in like you go win this. But I don't exactly know if I'm reading that correctly, considering this is also probably sometimes in anime, especially with subbed to, you know, into English, translation can be tricky because some things are phrased a very specific way in Japanese that don't quite get articulated perfectly in English. So I don't know if that's one of those instances. I don't know if I'm completely off with how I was thinking. So yeah, you guys can just let me know if there's a correct interpretation or if just let me know your thoughts. Besides that, this was another lovely episode. I especially love Ukai's words at the end, exposing a little bit more Suga's emotion. Suga is looking forward to the future with a smile, and honestly, he deserves it. I want nothing more for him, and I hope that Kageyama really got a chance to take upon some of Suga's qualities to bring it into this match. And I feel like right now, I really do think that somehow we're going to end up taking this game against Seijo. I believe in it. I think especially with all this build up for Kageyama, for Suga, I think it's going to happen. So I guess we're going to have to see. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.